not necessarily the opinions of Walnut Media USA, management, station manager Janelle Reeves, any particular denomination or religion, the mailman, the church lady, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here's the Talk of the Heartland with Mac McKoy on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
All right, good afternoon. It is a Thursday, the 3rd of November in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland here on the Heartland's Christian voice, AM 660, FM 106.7 in Lincoln, and all around the world at KCRO.com. All right, so today is going to be a little different. No, don't turn the button. It's going to be better than usual. A little later on, we're going to start to talk about something that we'll talk about as time goes on this holiday season, this Christmas season, and that is the 3 C's of grieving. Because there are more cases of depression, family blow-ups, domestic violence, and unfortunately suicides during the Christmas season than there is any other time of the year. And most of the time it's because we are grieving. We are grieving over someone who is gone. Maybe they're passed on and they're in the Lord's hands now. Maybe they're passed on and you don't think they are in the Lord's hands and you tried and tried and tried. Or someone's coming to visit Uncle Bob and he's just a mess. And you hate him in your house. You hate him when he's there. I shouldn't say hate, but you know what I mean. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But first, if you'll allow me to, I'm going to bring up a local topic that has just got me really upset. And I'm going to share it with you the best way I can. And then I'm going to ask you a question and get your opinion on something. And you're welcome to give me your opinion on an email at Mac, M-A-C like macaroni, at KCRO.com. Mac, M-A-C, at KCRO.com. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will read them on the air, and I won't read your name unless you say you can read my name. So a few days ago, trying to find the age here. A 37-year-old man who was, no, he's younger than that. So a young man, Zachary Paulson, who was drunk, or at least he's been charged with drunk driving. And that's a whole nother topic for me. But it is what it is. He's been charged with driving under the influence. And the police report says he was going about 100 miles an hour. And then he hit an SUV. And it rolled on its top. And it burnt. It burst into flames, and then it burnt and killed the driver, Sarah Zimmerman, and her unborn baby boy, and her passenger, Amanda Shook, who was 38, she also died at the scene. Now, this young man came in and pleaded no contest, which means he's not going to get a jury trial or any kind of a trial. He's pled no contest, which the law sees as guilty, but it doesn't go on your record as a guilty plea. I don't know why that makes a difference. I'm sure some lawyer could tell me why. Whatever. I am thankful that his attorney, who was a court-appointed attorney, did convince this young man to avoid all the pain that he was going to put these families through as they tried this young man, who obviously did it. I mean, I'm sorry. I know everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and I dislike that when people hear something and they say, well, that's probably true. He did it. I think this is a different situation. They know he did it. he was caught in the act. He was caught in the act of driving 100 and some mile an hour. He was caught in the act by hitting an SUV, which killed two women, 37-year-old Sarah Zimmerman and her unborn baby boy, and her passenger, Amanda Shook. They all died at the scene. Did you catch anything in there that's kind of weird, or that you might think's got me all bubbling inside? See, the driver of the SUV, 37-year-old Sarah Zimmerman, and her 8-month-old unborn child, in fact, they know it was a boy, he's been charged with homicide to an unborn child. So he's been charged with 2 counts of motor vehicle homicide, 1 count of DUI, and another count of homicide of an unborn child. He was released on bond, which isn't part of my complaint. I just think that's interesting. All right, bear with me. And if you are pro-life, like I am, then I'll bet you agree with this, or you're not against it. If you are pro-choice, you're the one I want the letter from. I won't argue with you on the air unless you want to come on the air. I don't really want to argue at all because I've got this pro-choice thing all figured out and had it figured out years ago. And you probably know the story, but I'll give you the short version. I was born to an unwed mother after a single date with a professor, a married professor. This was 1958. And when I was born, I was put into an orphanage here in Omaha, and several months later adopted by my mom and dad down in Beatrice, and grew up a happy Nebraskan. Go Big Red. I like Jerry Taggy better, though. So when I was about 18, I found my biological mother. And she told me that without a doubt, if Roe versus Wade had been the law in 1958, she would have aborted me. Now, that is not any type of judgment on her. That's not where I'm going. I'm going with the fact that the only reason I'm alive today is because there was a law in place. I'm sorry, there wasn't a law yet in place that said you can murder your unborn child. Let me add one more thing before I go through this. You have heard me say this on the air over and over and over, and if you've never heard it, here's the first time. You are forgiven by Jesus for every sin you ever committed. You committed today, and you'll commit in the future. All you have to do is repent. Sincerely repent and give your life to Jesus. Now, there are people that say you don't have to give your life to Jesus because you've already been forgiven those things. But if you don't repent and you don't give your life to Jesus, you're kind of wasting a free shot here. Okay, but that's beside the point. Here's my point. There is a law on the books that says it is against the law. In fact, it is a Class 2C felony for the homicide of an unborn child. Why does this man get charged with that when another person who takes the life of an unborn child is not charged with that? Now, this is a whole conversation and discussion, and we're not going to go down the rabbit trail today. And I'm not saying that the woman who is pregnant should be charged with that. That's above my pay grade. I've never been in that position. I hope to never be in that position. As far as I know, I've known very few people that have been in that position. And the only thing I can ever tell them is God has already forgiven you. But the doctor and the nurses who are killing that child, no malice. In fact, they get paid for it. They get paid $600 and probably higher in some places to kill that child. This is a person who has taken an oath to saving lives. And yet for $600, he will murder, he will dismember, he will suck body parts out of the womb. And yet it's completely legal for him to do that. Now, with Roe versus Wade changing, it's not legal. The states now have to decide when you can have an abortion and if you can have an abortion. The thing they're not talking about is this could be really easy. Let's just eliminate the ability for doctors to do these murders without having any responsibility on their shoulders, without having any consequences. Now, do I want a doctor to have that? No, I don't. Heavens no. But at some point, we've got to decide that if that baby is killed accidentally in an automobile accident, and they would even tell you this was an accident. This was not an accident because he was driving over 100 miles an hour drunk on his behind. In fact, his blood alcohol level, blood alcohol level was 2 times the legal. Now, there's a whole bunch of more stuff like this that the people at his last bar that he was at knew he was drunk and they kept serving him, so they may sue them. Really? Well, that means because I'm overweight and I really like Broncos, that I can sue them for making me fat, right? If you have a gun and you use it in the during a crime, the law now allows you to sue the gun manufacturer. Do you see how we are one way over here as a society, saying that we're going to blame everybody and anybody that we can when somebody dies for whatever reason? But yet, this man is going to face homicide of an unborn child. And 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, a half hour earlier, a doctor murdered an unborn child for $600. I don't understand. I really don't understand. And remember, my deal isn't because I love Jesus. I didn't love Jesus at 18 when my biological mother told me that. And that's a true story. It's in my book. The only reason I say it's in my book is I would never put anything on the radio or in writing that was not true. I'm just not that way. I can raise enough hell by just, being straight and serious. I don't understand why a baby is dead. That's the bottom line. A human life is dead. Whether it was hit by a car or a doctor killed it, what difference does it make? Isn't that baby of value to us? Because right now, this guy's facing homicide by an unborn child. Now, he's probably going to get life anyway. It's happened in Nebraska. He could even get the death penalty. But 20 minutes before or 20 minutes after that accident, there was a doctor somewhere, just somebody else, doesn't matter who, somebody else was murdering an unborn child. And yet they get their license kept. It doesn't make any difference on their insurance. And they get paid money to do it, which is the sickest reason to do anything. Well, I made money. All right, so I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to move on. Thanks for giving me that 8 minutes to kind of expound, but these are the instances that I don't understand, you and I. A baby is dead in the womb. That is homicide of an unborn child, unless a doctor does it in what's called an abortion, and then it's not. I don't know how to make sense of that. Maybe you do. Email me, Mac, M-A-C, like macaroni, at kcro.com. Meanwhile, when we come back, a delightful story. Not really. It's the Christmas season right around the corner. I know it's early, but we've already got people advertising it. And it's early enough that we need to start thinking about Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is coming to the house for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. You don't like Uncle Bob? For whatever reason it may be, you don't like Uncle Bob. And it causes you grief to the point where it ruins the Christmas holiday. Or you've lost someone, either by death or by divorce or whatever it is, and you're grieving that loss. I'm going to help you understand the 3 C's of grieving through the Christmas season and helping you maybe not feel that pain, not feel that desire to hurt yourself, or even worse, take your own life. Put a smile on. I'm going to help you. And thanks for listening to AM 660. That's regional. Big time Midwest. Hello, Des Moines. Hello, Kansas City. Hello, Sioux Falls. Hello, Kearney. 106.7 in Lincoln. And all around the world at kcro.com.
KCRO is seeking partners interested in sharing God's message to our listeners. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss the mission of your business, organization, or ministry and how it might fit into the KCRO lineup. For more information, go to kcro.com and contact Janelle.
NFM makes styling your home easy. With stress-free interior design services, NFM helps you curate a look that perfectly fits your style and budget. With long-term financing available, whether you're looking for a special statement piece or want to transform the whole room, our creative interior designers walk you through every step. Let the experts at NFM do the hard work, so you can move on to making memories.
How does the news around us affect us as Christians? Listen in for Jay Sekulow weekdays at 11 a.m. on KCRO.
We all know prices are skyrocketing on everything these days, right? So it may be a great idea to get a checkup at Vandervorst Insurance. Give Greg and Cheryl a call at 402-330-7979. You've heard it before, 330-7979. Things change every year, and I'm so glad Vandervorst Insurance is watching out for my family's house, cars, and my other stuff that we seem to think we need. 330-7979. Tell them Boomer Jackie sent you.
Have you heard about the red heifers that were delivered to Israel on September 15th? What does the Bible say about the significance of those red heifers? What will they be used for? How does the prophecy of the red heifer fit into end times Bible prophecy? I'm Debbie Blank with Living Word Ministries, inviting you to join me Sundays and Mondays at 5:30 p.m. so we can look into these prophecies that must be fulfilled for a temple to be built in Israel, which also must happen before the return of Jesus.
The Heartland's Christian Voice, KCRO.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, just about 3 weeks from Thanksgiving. Good heavens. And it is Thursday, the 11th of November in the Lord's year 2022. You've heard me say it before, but I'll say it again, that if you're listening to this on a podcast or on a webcast, and a webcast has pictures, and yes, there's cameras in here, and they're watching me, every move I make, every breath I take. And so I date them so you know when they were recorded. That may not make a difference in the topic. Today we're going to talk about the 3 C's of grief and how to get through grieving the loss of someone or having someone in your Christmas celebrations that just almost ruin it for you. Almost ruin it. And maybe they do ruin it. But for whatever reason, your family situation is one that you can't say, I don't want Uncle Bob here this year. Now, we're talking about the Christmas holiday, but you may be listening to this in April or May or June, and it's a few moments or a few days or a few months since Uncle Bob made you mad or since you lost somebody, and this is the first Christmas, the one coming up, that you're going to spend without that person. And we could sit here and unpack all the reason we have Uncle Bob's in our life. He's an alcoholic. He doesn't respect Christmas. In fact, he's an atheist and an agnostic. He makes fun of those people that do. And if I'm in the room and you're making fun of the fact that I'm following Jesus and he blah, 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 then I'm asking you, why in the heck is there a present under the tree, my tree, with your name on it? Well, that's because it's the holidays and we give away gifts in the holidays. That's not how it began, and that's not how it is. The midst of Christmas is Christ. Maybe Uncle Bob is a downer. Maybe Uncle Bob is still grieving over the loss of his mother or his father or his wife or a child. And he just kind of brings down the holiday season. Maybe Uncle Bob is always late. And you got to wait to start, because if you start before he gets there, he whines and moans. Oh, you started without me. Fine. Okay, I guess I know how important I am. Any chicken left? Oh, no. Turkey? Oh, I don't like ham. I had a son like that. We used to tell him to be someplace an hour early because we knew then he'd only be a half hour late. And it really messed up Christmas. But his mother allowed it. And so my job was to allow it also, with great grief. What are the 3 C's that help you get through a Christmas holiday when you are grieving? It's important that we talk about this because it impacts somebody you know. Maybe, sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but maybe your Uncle Bob. Or like I was 6 years ago, I was spending my first Christmas without my wife because she died in December of that year. And to be honest with you, that wasn't really the first Christmas, because she died so close to Christmas, it just washed out the whole event. Whole family thing, just ruined it. Likely, I understand. But the next year was the year that I just couldn't handle. I couldn't handle the birthday. I couldn't handle the wedding anniversary. I couldn't handle Mother's Day. I just, and you know what I'm talking about if you've lost someone, either because of old age or because of tragedy, and you go by those first milestones. Valentine's Day, wedding day, birthday, Mother's or Father's Day. Might be the opening season of the Cornhuskers. It might be the first day of autumn when the leaves begin to change. It might be the first snowfall. It doesn't matter what it is. If something reminds you of someone who you have lost and they're not there to celebrate Christmas with you, we need to talk about the grief that perhaps you're going to go through and the consequences of that grief. 3 C's. C, C, and C. Okay? We'll be back. My name is Mac McKoy, and I thank you for listening. You see, I love my ministry, and being on the radio is just a part of it. But I love talking to you every day and telling you one thing. Jesus loves you. We're coming back on AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world at kcro.com.
Bringing the word to you from Timothy Greco Ministries.
If you trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledging Him, He shall direct your paths.
You're bringing the word to you with Timothy Greco, Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. and Sundays at 12:30 p.m. on KCRO.
Hi, it's General Don Bacon. It's been my greatest honor to represent you in Congress, serving as a check and balance against Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and their reckless inflationary spending that made everything more expensive, while bringing people together and building consensus for good ideas, like supporting our men and women of law enforcement, delivering billions for a new Offutt runway and to rebuild after the floods, and millions to modernize Epley Airfield to make it the best in the Midwest. Getting results is why I've been endorsed by Nebraskans of all political stripes, from business to labor to law enforcement to the firefighters. And we've done it with the civility and respect that Nebraskans expect. This is General Don Bacon asking for your vote to keep fighting to lower your costs and make our communities safer. I await your orders November 8th.
To find your polling place, go to donjbacon.com and be sure to vote on November 8th.
I'm Don Bacon. I approve this message, paid for by Don Bacon for Congress.
Tune in Saturday mornings at 7 for The Bible Says with Ashley Day.
This is Ashley Day, inviting you once again to join us as we seek to answer the question, what does the Bible say?
Saturday mornings at 7 on KCRO.
Now your forecast for KCRO for Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Lincoln. Lows around 41 tonight under overcast skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Winds out of the west 10 to 20 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 45. Cloudy. Cloudy skies again tomorrow night. Mixed precipitation likely. Lows level off around 31. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Saturday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley on KCRO. Right now 75.
KCRO.
Good afternoon and welcome to Thursday, or the end of Thursday, or the afternoon of Thursday. It's Thursday, the third day of November in the Lord's year 2022. I'm McKoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland on AM 660, which is this giant regional signal. It's just awesome. And we've also got a special FM down in Lincoln, FM 106.7. We're on Alexis. We're on the internet. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter. We're on the YouTube. And wherever else you are in the world with the internet available at kcro.com. And we thank you for taking the time to listen to the Heartland's Christian voice. All right, I'm Mac McKoy, and today we're going to talk about something that's probably not too pleasant to talk about, but if you fall under this category like I do, it's important to hear how you can get through Christmas, get through Thanksgiving while you're grieving. Now, you may be grieving because Uncle Bob's coming, and he's just a jerk. Drinks too much, swears around the grandchildren, doesn't care about prayers, or an hour late and then bitches at everybody because everybody started eating. Even the turkey wanted to be eaten. I'm getting cold here. The point is the holidays are not the happiest for you. And I get that. Never been a big Christmas guy, and that was because of family. It's not anything about Jesus. In fact, once Jesus mugged me and came and got me 13 years ago, I've learned to enjoy Christmas for the reason it is. Remember the reason for the season. My friends at Divine Truth and I are working together to make sure that you keep Christ in the middle of Christmas. And what does that mean? It means if you're going to give somebody a gift, give them something that reminds them of Jesus. Now, unless they're just blatant, horrific atheists or agnostics, and you should never do that to somebody like that. That's not fair, and that's not what the Lord would want, I don't believe. But to give somebody at Christmas time a children's Bible when they're 6, or a coffee mug that says, I'm with him, and there's a picture of Jesus, or something you want to buy to put on your wall to remember someone who's passed away, or some music, or a book, or a ring, or whatever it is that Divine Truth has that you want, or you don't know they have it, but they've got it and you want it. Or you don't know what they have because you've never been there or don't go there very often, so I would recommend that you go shopping. Walk the aisles. See if something doesn't hit you. And by the way, on your way in, pray, Holy Spirit, guide me to a gift for someone that I know. Just guide me. Tap me on the shoulder when I get to it and say, Mac, that's the gift for Miss M. Or, Mac, that's the gift for David. Or, Mac, that's the gift for Addie. Or Dan. Or Janelle at work. Just tap me on the shoulder and let me know, because I need you to reveal yourself to me sometimes. Anyway, I got a little bit off subject there. The Christmas season is not always a good one for people. And I want you to know that statistics show that year after year after year after year after year, there are some signs in our society that people aren't crazy about Christmas or the Christmas season. And let's just leave faith out of this for a minute. We already know why they don't like it. And most of them love it because they're getting something for nothing. I've always said people who don't believe in Jesus ought to have to work Christmas Day. You don't get it off. And you don't get a Christmas tree. And you don't get presents. But I'm a little harsh that way, and I get it. I'm a Jesus freak with an attitude. I get it. But for whatever reason, you're going through grief. During this Christmas season is the highest rate of suicides. It is the highest rate of domestic abuse. It is the highest rate of DUI next to New Year's. So maybe the Christmas season, which New Year's always includes, at least in most people's mind. That's why the DUIs are up. That could be. But it's the first one that I'm worried about the most, that you're going to hurt yourself. That you don't think anybody loves you. And like most people, right before they take their own life, they've decided that the family would actually be better off. And I'm not kidding you. I've interviewed these people. I've sat down and talked to them. Sometimes in the studio with a microphone and sometimes in church under the foot of the cross. Talking about the pain that they get to this holiday and they don't like Halloween because it reminds them of Christmas. And then they start to hear all the commercials and Hallmark saying, this season we have 265 Christmas movies to show you. You know, there are channels who refuse to play a Charlie Brown's Christmas because it has a Bible verse in it. And the Bible verse comes from Luke, and it talks about a child was born in this manger. Linus does it with his dirty little blanket. So it's all messed up anyway. But it's a very, very hard season for some people to get through. Very difficult. And I've gathered what I call the 3 C's. So you make a plan with your needs in mind, not the needs of others. Time to be selfish. As you build a plan, consider the 3 C's. The first one, choose. Choose what's best for you. Even during dark bouts of grief, you still possess the dignity of choice. Grief often brings the sense of loss out of control. Make choices about what you can attend, join, and do, and what you can't. I'm sorry, I can't go to Aunt Billy's house or Uncle Billy's house because Uncle Bob's coming and I can't handle him. So I'm going to choose not to go. help reinstate some of that which you lose control over because you choose. Now, if you listen to this radio program, you know that I'm big into choice. Sometimes it doesn't make people very happy. For instance, do you know that you choose to be offended? Yeah, you do. No, you choose. Because a lot of people aren't offended by that. They don't care. But you choose to be offended by that. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. But understand it's a choice. You're wasting time that you and God could be joyfully, happily singing a hymn. But instead you choose to be offended, to manipulate somebody else by saying, well, I'm offended by that. Choice also comes down around the holidays. Choose where you go and who you spend it with and the amount of time that's there. Have an exit plan. If you're going over to grandma's for Thanksgiving dinner and she's whipping up all this wonderful homemade stuff, pick an exit plan. I'm not saying lying. I'm not saying make an excuse. Just go to grandma and grandma alone. Say, Grandma, I'm going to be busting out of here a little bit after pie. And I love you, and I love spending Thanksgiving with you. It's just something I got to do. Remember that choosing what's best for you may need the input of someone else who's committed to your well-being. And that gives us the next C. And I'll tell you about that when we come back. It is 19 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm Mac McKoy, and thanks for listening to the Talk of the Heartland on AM 660, 106.7 in Lincoln and all around the world at KCRO.com.
Why do we study Old Testament stories like the ones we find in the book of Samuel? Friday on Truth for Life, Alistair Begg explains.
The conviction that we need our Bibles to understand human history and to understand our own little histories and our place in history.
Find out more as you listen Friday to Truth for Life with Alistair Begg.
Truth for Life with Alistair Begg. Weekday mornings at 8 on KCRO, 660 AM in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln.
Is Uncle Sam the primary beneficiary of your estate? Hi, I'm Jason, your Omaha financial planner. I'm inviting you to my webinar on taxes and retirement on November 10th at 11 a.m. Please sign up at omahafinancialplanning.com. omahafinancialplanning.com.
Hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. This is Pastor Mark Smith of Royal Assembly of God in North Omaha, inviting you to join me here at KCRO on Sundays from noon to 12:30 for our radio program, Call to Repentance. Join us here on Sundays and hear the Thus saith the Lord concerning the issues of today: abortion, same-sex marriage, transgenderism, racism, politics, and a variety of other subjects from a Christian perspective. Here at KCRO 660 AM, 106.7 FM, and all around the world at KCRO.com.
100 years KCRO.
It's about 4:45 at 5 o'clock. Van Dieb comes in, and his special guest on the journey today is Don Bacon, a man who's running for Congress. You see him about 37 times a day on television. But he's a good-looking guy. But that doesn't matter. What's he going to do for us if he gets into Congress? Here's your chance to listen to him, as I wish we could listen to every candidate. I don't care what side they're on. But we seem to form opinions about people because of what other people say. Well, you know that TV commercial said he's for abortion. That's not true. But that's what they tell you. Do you know, I'm going to get on a bug here, and I shouldn't, but did you know that advertising in elections is the only place that is not monitored by a government agency where you can't lie? Have you ever heard those drug commercials where it says, and if you get a headache and you got your period and you can't feel very well and you get your bowels messed up and you end up puking up and you end up bleeding out of your mouth and your eyes and your ears and you think you're dead, you just don't know, but everybody says you look like hell. You don't have to do that. on a political campaign. You can lie through your teeth. You know why it's legal? Guess who votes for whether it's legal or not? Yeah. So, Don Bacon running for Congress. I'm going to listen today because I haven't really made up my mind yet. He's on Van Deeb Show here. 5 o'clock at KCRO.com. Coming up, the second C in the 3 C's of getting through the Christmas season with grief.
KCRO is seeking partners interested in sharing God's message to our listeners. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss the mission of your business, organization, or ministry and how it might fit into the KCRO lineup. For more information, go to KCRO.com and contact Janelle.
NFM makes styling your home easy. With stress-free interior design services, NFM helps you curate a look that perfectly fits your style and budget. With long-term financing available, whether you're looking for a special statement piece or want to transform the whole room, our creative interior designers walk you through every step. Let the experts at NFM do the hard work, so you can move on to making memories.
How does the news around us affect us as Christians? Listen in for Jay Sekulow weekdays at 11 a.m. on KCRO.
We all know prices are skyrocketing on everything these days, right? So it may be a great idea to get a checkup at Vandervorst Insurance. Give Greg and Cheryl a call at 402-330-7979. You've heard it before, 330-7979. Things change every year, and I'm so glad Vandervorst Insurance is watching out for my family's house, cars, and my other stuff that we seem to think we need. 330-7979. Tell them Boomer Jackie sent you.
Have you heard about the red heifers that were delivered to Israel on September 15th? What does the Bible say about the significance of those red heifers? What will they be used for? How does the prophecy of the red heifer fit into end times Bible prophecy? I'm Debbie Blank with Living Word Ministries, inviting you to join me Sundays and Mondays at 5:30 p.m. so we can look into these prophecies that must be fulfilled for a temple to be built in Israel, which also must happen before the return of Jesus.
KCRO.
It's 12 minutes before 5 here on AM 660 and FM 106.7 and all around the world at KCRO.com. Today we're talking about grief. No, don't push the button yet. It's not just grief over a loved one that doesn't participate in family things, especially during the Christmas holidays. It's not just about somebody who you lost this past year, whether it be to death or just a change in the family dynamics. And you're still grieving over that because this is the first Christmas since they're gone. Or, in a lot of cases, it's because Uncle Bob's coming. And Uncle Bob's a jerk. He says things that aren't appropriate around the grandkids. He drinks too much, farts too much, likes to get into an argument, doesn't want to say prayers, comes late, stays late, and it just destroys Christmas or Thanksgiving. And you grieve that because your daughter, your son, or somebody has said, Mom, Grandma, you have to have Uncle Bob here. It's the only thing he's got. We're the only family he's got. He screwed up the rest of his life. It's all he's got. How do you get through grieving through the Christmas holiday? Some people choose to hurt themselves. Some people fall into a habit of consumption of things they shouldn't be eating or drinking or smoking or whatever. So the first C of the 3 C's is choose. Choose what's best for you. It's not selfish. It's sanity. Second one is connect. See, we're wired for connection. Grief, especially during the holidays, is intensifying feelings of loneliness, which often leads to isolation. It's difficult, but important not to remove yourself from the lives of others. We're the only family Uncle Bob's got. If we don't have him, he's just going to go to the homeless shelter and eat for free, or he's going to just sit at home, watch football, and drink too much. See, no one wants to go to a party and consistently hear, hey, how you doing? But it's important not to fake it when you're asked that. You see, the honesty will help you and others get through this time of grief. I know, I do the same thing. How you doing? I'm good. How are you? What do you do if when you say, hey, how you doing, somebody says, not good? They catch you off guard, first of all, so that would be choosing to accept the fact that they might tell you the truth. I know, it's rare in America, but somebody may tell you the truth. So when you ask the question, be prepared to communicate with this person. And that's the third C. See, part of communication is putting your needs out there. When you say to others, this is going to be awkward or weird, but this is what I need. Let the people that love you, and even the people that don't, know how you plan to respond to others who ask, hey, Mac, how you doing? See, the greatest difficulty with this is the vulnerability that it requires. Hey, Mac, how you doing? I'm not doing so well. Oh, well, can I pray with you? You want to sit down over in the corner? You want to go take a walk? What can I do for you? How can I serve you? And the worst thing, by the way, you can do, this is the worst line ever when people are in grief. Oh, I know what you're going through. No, you don't. You don't. If you lost a spouse, it's not the same as if somebody else did. If you don't like Uncle Bob to be there, it's not the same as if they don't want Aunt Joyce there. But when somebody says, how you doing? And you tell the truth, it makes you vulnerable. And that requires communication. Communicating, however, you can to your friends and family will help let them know how best to come alongside you, especially when the waves of grief arrive. In those moments of breakdown or confusion, it really is all about talking about it. Because you know why you talk about it? Because you heal. That's the only way to heal sometimes. Well, I got to tell you, I feel better now that I just got it off my chest. I mean, one of the reasons why I listen to people when the answer is, well, I'm not doing so good. Because maybe all they need is a set of ears to listen and a mouth to shut up. Tell me about it. You don't want to hear about it. Hey, you know what? I'm looking at my watch. I don't have to be to work till Christmas, so let's do this. Yeah, but there's all these people around. Let's go sit on the porch. Let's go outside. Let's take a drive. Oh, we can't take a drive. Grandma's fixing, Thanksgiving. Well, let's just go in the corner. Let's just get away so you can talk. They may turn around and say, well, I'm sorry, I really don't want to talk. Okay, I respect that. I love you enough and I respect you enough that I'm going to let that be there, but I want you to know I'm there to talk to you, but you're going to have to come to me and say, okay, I'm ready to talk. Don't ask me to call you every day and say, how you doing? And have you tell me most days, I'm good. Just saw Oprah Winfrey, and she's just awesome because she's giving away stuff, her favorite stuff. No, I'm not doing well. But if you make me call you every day and your answer is always, well, I'm doing fine. I'm not going to unpack your life. If you don't want to unpack it, I'm not going to unpack it. Sorry, I don't do that. Most good people don't. They're not going to pry. It's not like taking your hands and opening the mouth of a lion and sticking your head in there and hoping he doesn't bite you. If I love you, I'm going to respect that maybe you don't want to talk about it. Maybe you might have said, well, I guess I'd just like to talk about it, but I don't know what to say. Well, the answer to that is, I'm listening. Doesn't matter what you say, I'm listening. Yeah, I don't want any advice. I'm listening. I can't give you advice if I'm just listening. It is one of the most powerful gifts that God gives us, the ability to listen, to decipher. You know where we get that, don't you? Who's the best listener of all? Who's always there to listen to our problems, to listen to our whining, to listen to us pray, to listen to us complain, to listen to us cry? God. He invented listening. He invented prayer. See, when you say I'm going to text somebody, that's the same as prayer if you're talking to God. Well, I'm just going to send him a quick email. Okay, well, that can be prayer too. In fact, I know this is going to be weird, but every once in a while I'll sit down and I'll type a letter to God because I just want to get it out. I just want to pound that keyboard. Remember, my hobby is writing. I'm blessed. I've got a couple published books, but they are so helpful. It's like going to a counselor and just unloading. Now, I know God's address, and I have sent one once. I was really small, young, about 15, but I sent it. It did not come back to sender. So maybe when I get there, he's going to say, hey, remember when you wrote this when you were 15? Wouldn't that be a hoot? When you talk to God, you can tell him how you feel, and you can get it off your chest. Or you can tell me, or you can tell grandma, or you can tell your daughter or your son. Or you can talk to the scarecrow in the backyard. Or my favorite thing to do is talk to the dogs. I've had a terrible day, Picasso. I just have a terrible day. Thanks for listening. I just needed to get it off my chest. But there are 3 C's that you can help yourself with if you have grief during the holiday season, during the Christmas season. First is choose. Choose what's best for you. Okay? Grief often brings a sense of loss of control, so get back into control. You're in charge of how you feel. Second one is connect. Connect with people. Just be around them. Listen to them. Maybe they need somebody to listen to or be listened to. Maybe they need somebody to just sit there and while they just tell you about this incredible grief they have. You may be saving a life or saving a soul or saving someone's feelings because they figure out that you really do care. And the last, communicate. Just put your needs out there. I know this is going to be awkward or weird, but this is what I need. How you doing, Mac? I'm just a light short of a full bulb. I'm a brick short of a load. Lights are on and nobody's home. All of those, as funny as they are, should wake up something inside of you that says, oh, he needs to communicate. I hope the Christmas season is the best season of the year for you. I hope you are one of those people who loves it. Just loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it. I'm with you. Most of the time. And when I'm not, I hope you allow me to make a choice, to choose my exit, and then communicate and connect with those that I love. Okay? Thanks for listening today to AM 660 and 106.7 in Lincoln. We are KCRO.